Before I tell you what happened, I need you to understand something. I am not a jealous man. I am not the type of husband who checks phones or asks 100 questions. I trusted my wife completely. That is exactly why what happened broke something inside me that I don't think will ever fully heal. It started on a Thursday night. My wife, Rachel, was packing a bag for a girls' weekend with her college friends. 3 nights at a lake house, she said. She was humming while she folded her clothes, and honestly, seeing her that happy made me happy too. I sat on the edge of the bed watching her, thinking about how lucky I was. Then I saw something small, something that most husbands would never even notice. She opened her jewelry box, took off her wedding ring, looked at it for a second longer than normal, and placed it inside a zippered pocket in her makeup bag, not on the dresser, not in the jewelry box where she always kept it when she showered or did the dishes. She hid it inside her makeup bag, the one thing she would be carrying with her the entire trip. I asked her, half joking, "Afraid you'll lose it at the lake?" She smiled without looking up and said, "You know how my fingers swell in the heat. I don't want to lose it in the water." It was a good answer, a believable answer, and if it wasn't for the last 4 months, I would have believed it completely. But the last 4 months had not been normal. Rachel had started locking her phone with a new passcode. She used to leave it face up on the counter. Now it stayed face down, always within arm's reach. She started going to a book club on Tuesday nights that I had never heard of before. She laughed at texts and then quickly turned her screen away when I walked into the room. Small things. The kind of things you can explain away one at a time, but when you stack them together, they build a wall. And there was a name that kept appearing. Marcus. An old co-worker from a job she'd left 3 years ago. According to her, he had reached out because he was going through a divorce and needed someone to talk to. "He's just a friend going through a hard time," she told me. I wanted to believe that too. The night before she left, after she fell asleep, I did something I am not proud of, but I don't regret it either. I looked at her phone. She had left it charging on her nightstand, unlocked, because the passcode had timed out from an earlier notification. I found messages between her and Marcus going back weeks. They weren't messages between 2 old co-workers. They were messages between 2 people already planning a life together. A hotel confirmation under his name, 3 nights, same dates as her girl's trip, same town. I put the phone back exactly where I found it. I didn't confront her that night. I wanted to see how far she would take it. The next morning, she left with a hug and a kiss, telling me she loved me and would call when she landed. 2 hours later, my phone buzzed with a text. "Oops, I think I left my ring at home, lol. Guess I'll just enjoy the trip ring-free, grinning face with sweat." I stared at that message for a long time. She wasn't asking me to check for it. She wasn't asking me to mail it or bring it to her. She was telling me, almost proudly, that she had gone somewhere important to her without it. It wasn't an accident. It was a decision she wanted me to notice. So I made a decision of my own. I didn't call her. I didn't text back asking questions. Instead, I typed 1 sentence and hit send. "Tell Marcus I said hi. And tell the front desk at the hotel they should really train their staff not to call the wrong room by mistake." That last part wasn't even true. I made it up. But it didn't matter, because guilt fills in the blanks faster than truth ever could. The message showed as delivered. Then read. Then nothing. No response for almost 10 minutes. When my phone finally rang, it wasn't a text. It was a call, and her name lit up my screen like an alarm. I let it ring twice before I picked up. Her voice was shaking. What are you talking about?" I told her the truth. I told her what I found on her phone, the hotel reservation, the dates, the weeks of messages. I told her I had known for almost 12 hours and had watched her pack her bag, hide her ring, and walk out the door pretending everything was fine. She didn't deny it for long. She started crying, saying it wasn't supposed to happen this way, that she had been unhappy for a long time and didn't know how to tell me. She said Marcus made her feel seen again. She said she never meant to hurt me. I told her something I had been holding in for months. I said, "Being unhappy doesn't erase your voice, Rachel. You had a mouth. You could have talked to me instead of hiding your ring in a makeup bag like a teenager sneaking out of the house." She had no answer for that. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten her. I told her one thing before I hung up: enjoy your trip. When you get back, we'll talk about what happens next. But we're not the same people you left this morning thinking we were. She came home 2 days early. The lake house friends, it turned out, were real, but only for 1 night. The other 2 nights were never about a lake house at all. When she walked through the door, She expected an argument. She expected me to be broken, shouting, begging her to explain. Instead, she found a man who had already made peace with the truth. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't cold. I was simply done pretending that love alone was enough to fix what trust could no longer hold together. She asked, through tears, if there was any way back for us. I told her the honest answer. I don't doubt that you love me in your own way. But love was never the question. The question is whether I can ever trust you in a room by yourself again. And right now, I can't. We spent the next few weeks in a strange, quiet kind of grief. Not the loud kind, but the kind where two people who once shared everything slowly start dividing a life into two. She admitted, eventually, that hiding the ring had been symbolic even to her. A small rebellion she told herself didn't count because it was just a piece of metal. But she later said something that stuck with me. Small choices are never really small. They're just the first visible piece of a decision someone already made in their heart. We didn't stay married. Not because there was hatred between us, but because some things, once broken, don't rebuild with apologies alone. We separated with more honesty in those final weeks than we'd had in the last year of our marriage combined. Looking back, I still think about that message. Oops, I think I left my ring at home. Such a small, careless sentence. But sometimes the smallest sentences carry the heaviest truths. She thought she was leaving a piece of jewelry behind for 3 days. What she was really leaving behind was the last thread holding two lives together, and she didn't even realize it until it was already gone. I never wanted revenge. I never wanted to ruin her happiness. I only wanted the truth, and once I had it, I couldn't unknow it. In the end, the biggest surprise wasn't that I found out. It was realizing that the moment I stopped chasing answers was the moment I finally started choosing myself again.